Hey y'all, it's your friend E, and in today's video, we're making a kissing booth for Valentine's Day. So let's get into it. I'm going to be making this booth using foam board, craft sticks, and some paper board. I already have my foam board cut into pieces. My first piece is 6 by 7 inches and it's 6 across, 7 up and down, and you can see I've marked my top. I have two pieces cut out for the side panels of my booth, and they are 3 by 7 inches. And I have two pieces for the back of the booth, and they are 1 by 7 inches, and this is going to be the top. And the top of the booth will have two pieces. The first piece is going to be the main part of the roof, and it is 3 by 6 inches. And the other part of the roof is actually going to be the sign for the booth, and it is 2 by 6 inches. And I'm using 4 craft sticks, and I've already painted these. I didn't worry about painting the bottom because you're not going to see that part, but I cut 2 of these to 14 inches long and 2 to 12.5 inches long. After cutting the craft sticks, I did have some pieces left over, so I went ahead and painted these, and I'm not sure if I'll need them, but I thought just in case. And I cut these to about 1.5 inches a piece. And here's the paperboard that I'm going to be using. And I think some of you guys call it chipboard, but this is just an old cereal box. And the cereal was actually pretty good. It just tastes like the regular Captain Crunch. But this is going to save me a lot of money in the future with making wood flooring. And I'm not going to show you guys how I did this because I learned how to do this by watching Queen City Minis. And she has a fabulous video showing the entire process of carving the lines in the paper and painting it and how to go about putting it onto your surfaces. So I would encourage you to go and watch her video if you want to know how to do this. To start with, I'm going to take my front piece and my two sides and glue those together. So I have my two side panels glued on, and now I'm going to do my back panels. And now I'm going to take the sticks that I cut to 12.5 inches and glue those in the front. So I have those two glued onto the front, and I was about to move on and glue the other ones onto the back, and I realized, guys, I forgot to cut a piece for the counter. I have a piece of foam board left over from when I cut out the church windows, so I'm going to use this. So I'll have to trim it down on this side, or I could use that as just one of those little extra counter lips. I don't know what they're called, but I might leave that on there. Yeah, we might leave that on there. But I will cut out some notches so it'll fit around these poles. Because if I don't do that, you can see there is a gap there. So here's my piece for the counter. And what I did is just cut out some notches for my sticks to fit through. And it'll just slide into place like this. And when I'm ready to glue it down, I can do that real easily. And of course, if you don't have a piece laying around like I did, what you can do is just cut a piece that is 6.5 inches long. So that'll give you 1/4 of an inch of an overhang on the edges here. So 6.5 inches long, and the depth of the counter, I wouldn't make that more than 1 inch wide because you need to leave room for the doll to stand behind the counter. I'm not ready to glue this into place yet, so I'm going to set it aside for now. Now I'm going to put my 14-inch sticks in the back of the booth like this. So I want to cover my base before I put the roof on. And part of me is thinking I probably should have did that step before I glued all of these pieces together. But too late now. So I'm trying to decide if I want them, which way I want my lines to go. I think it'd probably just be easier to do it this way. And I can wrap it around. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I might have to cut it to get it to lay a little bit better. So I have my paperboard on, and now I'm going to cover these seams. I have some extra pieces that I cut to about 1/2 inch wide, and I'm just going to use them to help cover my seams up. So I covered up all my edges with the extra paperboard, and I did do a little bit of touching up with the paint to hide some of the white that was peeping out, but I think it looks pretty good. So now we're going to put the roof on. I've decided that those extra pieces of craft sticks that I had, I am going to use those. I'm going to put those on the 14-inch craft sticks that are on the back of our booth. So if you're looking at the front of yours, the back ones should be taller. And I've marked off an inch from the top here. And I'm going to take these craft stick pieces and glue those in place like that. So I have my extra pieces on, and they're going to help support the roof, but I think I'm going to need even more support than that. So I'm going to take some more pieces and run them across like that. I have my extra supports in, and I'm just waiting for the paint to dry. So while I wait for that, I'm going to go ahead and put my counter in. And I've already covered the counter with the paper. So all I have to do now is just to glue my counter in place. The paint isn't completely dry, but it's dry enough for me to glue the top of it on since I didn't paint the very top of these. Now I can put my last portion on, and this is where the sign for the kissing booth will hang, and it's going to be at the very top here. So I'll get that glued in place. So I have my very top on for the sign, and the more I look at it, the more I think I don't want to glue my sign onto this. I want to have the ability to switch my signs out. So I'm going to try something really quickly. Hopefully it works. I took some of my leftover paperboard and I cut out a frame for my sign, and I cut 3 of these, and the other 2 I cut the top off of them, and I trimmed in the sides here a little bit and the bottom. So when it sits behind the main piece, let me turn it around here so you can see it. You'll see that it's not as wide as the main piece. And the bottom here doesn't come all the way up. So this should give me enough room. Once this is glued onto the back wall, this should make it so I can slide my sign down in here. So hopefully this works. For my sign, I just created something really simple on my computer, and I printed it out on cardstock since it is a little bit thicker than computer paper. And I added a piece of the leftover paperboard at the top, and this will help me get the sign in and out of the frame. But I don't want this part showing, so I'm going to cover that with some hearts that I've cut out. I'm just going to glue those on top like this, and I'll trim off the extra, and that will help me to have a neat look to my sign. So my sign should just slide between the gap and sit down in there nicely like that. And then I have the ability to change this out whenever I want to. In the summer, it can be a lemonade stand, and I can print out a lemon and put on my little tab here. In the fall, it can be a hot apple cider stand or even a pumpkin patch stand. And in the winter, we can serve hot chocolate. Now let's decorate it. Here's the finished booth, and it worked out pretty much like I wanted it to. I wanted to make sure that Roger could fit in it and not hit his head on the roof, and I could have actually lowered it a little bit, but I'm happy with it for now. So I cut out a banner of paper hearts here, and I cut out different sizes to make this little stand here, and I glued them to a popsicle stick. And the greenery I already had. I bought this from Dollar Tree for $1.25 a piece. So I thought just to add a little bit more greenery around the stand, and I think that looks pretty nice. And I thought this mini brands cash register went with the decor really nicely, pink and white, and it fit really good on this little counter that I left on the side. And in this glass jar, the jar is from the Dollar Tree. I think it came in a 4 or a 6 pack. And I had these little picks with hearts on them. And I'm going to pretend like they're lollipops. The roses I already had. I actually had these in burgundy also, but I thought these pink ones worked best. And it's just in another one of those Dollar Tree jars. And the sign, I'm going to put some footage up now of me making this. It is just some poster board that I had left over from the wood for the booth. So my friends, that's all I have for you today. And if you have any questions about anything in this video, please leave it in the comments below. I will try my best to answer your questions. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I'll see you next time, my friends. Bye-bye.